Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In the course of narcissistic abuse, individuals may undergo trauma, and the accompanying fear can become stored in both the mind and the body. The mind and body are intricately connected, and experiences that are overwhelming or traumatic can impact both aspects. In the context of constant emotional, psychological, or even physical abuse, the body's natural fight-or-flight response, aimed at addressing perceived threats or danger, is repeatedly activated. This repetitive activation can result in the trapping or retention of trauma and fear in the body, which might manifest as various illnesses later on in life. In this video, we will understand how fear and trauma may get trapped in the body, and we will also explore the significance of holistic approaches to healing of this trauma, considering both psychological and physical aspects. So let's get started. To better understand the adverse impacts of trauma and why it might potentially be physically stored, let's examine what occurs in the body during and after a traumatic experience. When an individual perceives a threat or undergoes trauma, the body's autonomic nervous system responds with the fight-or-flight or freeze reaction. The fight-or-flight response is an evolutionary adaptation of our bodies designed to help individuals cope with immediate threats. Consequently, the sympathetic nervous system in our body becomes activated in response to the stress or danger. This activation leads to various physiological changes in our bodies, including increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, to prepare the body for action. The body then prioritizes resources for quick action, redirecting energy away from non-essential functions, for example digestion, etc., to muscles and other systems needed for a rapid response. Subsequently, when the body no longer perceives the danger or threat, it takes around 20 minutes to an hour for the body to return to a state of homeostasis or equilibrium. However, individuals exposed to narcissistic abuse frequently face continuous emotional, psychological, or even physical threats. Moreover, individuals who have undergone severe or prolonged trauma might exist in a state of fight or flight for extended periods, months, years, or even decades. In specific instances, particularly when the perceived threat is continuous or overpowering, the body's natural stress response may be incomplete, thereby depriving the body of the chance to conclude the cycle of arousal, discharge, and the return to a state of relaxation or homeostasis. Imagine enduring this repetitive stress on your body for an extended period, stretching over years. Naturally, such prolonged exposure is bound to have an impact on your physical health and well-being. How could it not? Our minds and bodies are intricately connected, and experiences that are overwhelming or traumatic can impact both aspects. When thoughts of fear and trauma become so distressing that they are often simply too terrible to utter aloud, they transform into unspeakable emotions and bury or embed themselves in our minds and bodies as a self-preservation mechanism. When we consciously suppress this trauma, it is termed as suppressed trauma, and when it happens without conscious awareness, it is referred to as repressed trauma. But when these traumatic thoughts and memories remain unspeakable or suppressed for too long, they often impede our brain's natural process of recovery after trauma. They become stuck points that inhibit the mental reintegration needed for healing to occur. Some experts view this as our body storing or holding on to trauma. Everything that happens to us emotionally or psychologically also happens to our bodies. It's all connected. Our emotional experiences get stored in bodily tissues. Trauma can essentially become stuck energy within the body, especially when it overwhelms our cognition and the systems in the brain. The body may remember the physical sensations associated with the trauma, and this memory can be expressed through ongoing muscle tightness or discomfort. Trauma can create sensory memories associated with the event, including smells, sounds, or tactile sensations. The body may also react to stimuli reminiscent of the traumatic experience, even in non-threatening situations, leading to heightened arousal or distress. Thus, it is but natural that this can result in tangible physical effects. Take, for instance, post-traumatic stress disorder, which disrupts the hormone secretion, the neurochemistry, and the immune system functioning, all contributing to the malfunctioning of cells, organs, and other bodily systems. Stored trauma can also lead to chronically and abnormally high levels of cortisol, which in turn can increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. Now, let's take a look at how stress and trauma can impact our brains and bodies, and what the long-term effects may be. Our brain is the greatest supercomputer on Earth, and like all computers, it is vulnerable to damage. Just as a virus can wreak havoc on your computer, a shock or traumatic event can wreak havoc on your brain. And trauma isn't just in your head. Trauma leaves a lasting imprint on your body. Inevitably, on that account, a computer with multiple viruses will encounter increased glitches, and the same principle applies to numerous traumatic experiences. The greater the number of adverse experiences an individual has faced, the more likely it is that glitches will manifest later in life. And strangely, the viruses in our body can remain invisible until the computer in our brain starts acting up, and trauma survivors can appear healthy and functional until their body's defenses weaken enough for physical ailments to begin manifesting. And consequently, the trauma, if left untreated, can have a significant impact on your future health. It can lead to physical and emotional distress, which may result in more serious health conditions, such as heart attack, stroke, obesity, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and cancer. Narcissistic abuse can induce prolonged stress and anxiety in us, triggering the sympathetic nervous system, responsible for the fight or flight response. This continuous activation of the sympathetic nervous system can lead to an unusually rapid heart rate, contributing to conditions like supraventricular tachycardia, known as SVT. Extended exposure to chronic stress, anxiety, and emotional trauma during narcissistic abuse may elevate stress hormone levels, such as cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones can impact the cardiovascular system, potentially triggering or exacerbating episodes of SVT. Emotional distress and trauma, experienced during narcissistic abuse, can have a psychosomatic impact on the body, which means there can be an occurrence of physical symptoms, usually lacking a medical explanation. The mind-body connection means that emotional stress can manifest physically, and the heart, being sensitive to stress, may react with episodes of tachycardia. Narcissistic abuse can also contribute to the development of anxiety disorders, and individuals may experience panic attacks as a manifestation of extreme anxiety. The consistent exposure to abusive behavior creates a perception of ongoing danger, continuously triggering the body's fight or flight response. One of the hormones released during stressful times is cortisol, commonly known as the stress hormone. Cortisol serves a valuable purpose when needed. It provides energy during stressful situations and keeps us alert when we sense danger. However, the flip side is that cortisol also suppresses the immune system. In response to stress, our bodies shut down non-essential systems to channel all available resources towards combating the perceived threat. Anything unrelated to the fight or flight response, which is deemed non-essential by the body, is consequently shut down. Subsequently, this persistent stress weakens our immune defenses, making us susceptible to infections, autoimmune disorders, as well as heart and blood vessel diseases, including cancer. Frequent releases of adrenaline can damage blood vessels, elevate blood pressure, and amplify the likelihood of developing heart disease. In cases of chronic stress, as seen in conditions like PTSD, the brain remains in a constant state of readiness for a physical fight. The stress hormone cortisol, signals our bodies to save as much energy as possible for such an event, so it increases our appetite and stores energy, potentially leading to weight gain. This dysregulation may contribute to conditions like chronic stress, anxiety disorders, or even somatic disorders, where physical symptoms are present without an apparent medical cause. Our bodies are incredible machines, and our brains function as supercomputers. However, they were not designed to endure a perpetual state of fight or flight, or sustained high anxiety. Eventually, breakdowns will manifest, affecting the emotional, mental, and physical aspects of the body. Long-term stress, however, such as for those who live with PTSD or unresolved trauma, can affect every aspect of your life, your emotions, behaviors, thinking ability, and of course, your physical health. Understanding how fear and trauma may get trapped in the body emphasizes the importance of holistic approaches to healing, considering both psychological and physical aspects. And remember, there's no one right approach to processing and healing from trauma. Just as there's no single diet that works for everyone, there's likely no single approach to healing or releasing trauma that's right for everyone. We humans are pretty complex creatures. However, therapeutic modalities that address the mind-body connection, such as somatic experiencing or trauma-focused therapies, mindfulness, meditation, and yoga, can be valuable in helping individuals process and release stored emotions and physical tension. Addressing the psychological impact of narcissistic abuse through therapy or counseling can also be an important component of overall well-being, potentially helping to manage stress and anxiety and, by extension, contributing to cardiovascular health. But always remember to consult with healthcare professionals for personalized advice and guidance based on individual health circumstances. So, I hope this helps you. If it has, please consider sharing and subscribing to my channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Always feel free to share your experiences in the comments section below. I express my gratitude to everyone for tuning in and watching. Let us help spread the awareness and lead healthier and fulfilling lives.